Most people believe storms come from the sky, thunder, lightning, dark clouds. But the deadliest storms are the ones that form quietly inside a human life. The storms of loss, pressure, failure, fear, and uncertainty. These storms hit harder than any hurricane, and they leave scars no one else can see. Some people break the moment these storms arrive. They collapse, they freeze, they run. But a rare few don't just survive the storm, they somehow grow inside it. They come out stronger, sharper, and uncheckable. You've seen people like this. The mother who worked two jobs but never complained. The father who kept going even when his world was collapsing. The teenager who fought through circumstances that would destroy anyone else. What makes them different? Why do some people crumble while others rise? The answer isn't strength, not talent, not privilege. The answer is grit, a mentality carved from pain, forged in pressure, and strengthened by choice. Grit is the decision to keep moving even when your legs tremble. It's the voice inside that whispers, "Not today. I'm not giving up today." This story is about a boy named Armin, who never asked for life to be hard. A boy who had every reason to quit, every excuse to stop, and every right to fall apart. Yet he didn't. Because somewhere deep inside him, a small spark of grit refused to die, even when everything else around him did. And this is the story of how that spark became the storm he used to survive every other storm that life threw at him. Before you understand Armin's journey, you need to understand the psychology behind grit. Grit is not motivation. Motivation fades. It disappears the moment things get hard. Motivation is loud at the start but silent when life punches back. Grit is different. It's quiet, consistent. It doesn't shout. It whispers. It doesn't excite you. It guides you. Grit is the small voice inside that says, "Try again," even after you've failed. Even after no one believes in you, even when you barely believe in yourself. Psychologists describe grit as the combination of perseverance and passion, but real life shows it's much more than that. Grit is identity. It's deciding the kind of person you want to be regardless of what life throws at you. People with grit don't survive storms because they are strong. They survive because they refuse to let the storm define them. They understand something most people never learn. Life isn't about avoiding pain. It's about learning to carry it. And when you carry pain without surrendering, you develop a strength that cannot be taken away. Armin didn't know it yet, but grit would soon become the only thing he had left. Armin grew up in a small neighborhood that smelled of dust, heat, and struggle. He wasn't poor enough to beg nor rich enough to relax. His family stayed balanced on that thin line where one bad month could destroy everything. His father had been a hardworking mechanic until an accident crushed his hand and forced him to leave his job. Overnight, everything changed. Bills piled up, pressure rose. Food became simpler, nights became heavier. His mother worked in a factory, long hours, low pay, constant exhaustion. Armin watched her come home every night with red eyes and trembling fingers. But she never complained. Not once. Armin was the oldest of 3 children. At only 15, he had the responsibilities of a grown man. School during the day, a part-time job in the evening, homework at night, helping his mother on weekends. No time for games, no time for friends, no time for childhood. But he didn't break. He simply endured. Deep inside, he carried a silent promise. When I grow up, my family will never suffer again. But promises don't stop reality. And reality was cruel. The factory where his mother worked closed suddenly. His father's medical bills increased. The landlord raised the rent. Life didn't just give Armin one problem. It delivered all of them at once. And for the first time in his life, Armin felt the storm forming. A storm so big, so heavy, that even he didn't know if he could survive it. The month everything fell apart was the month Armin learned what true pressure felt like. The electricity bill arrived with a red warning. The landlord left a note at the door, "Rent overdue." Final notice. That night, Armin sat on the edge of his bed, staring at the floor as his chest tightened. His hands shook, He felt fear crawl inside his ribs. How will we survive? What do I do? What if I fail them? He had always been strong, but this storm was different. It felt impossible. The next morning, he went to school as usual, pretending everything was fine. But inside, he felt like a glass ready to shatter. During lunch, his teacher, an older man named Sir Hafiz, noticed him sitting alone, eyes dark, shoulders heavy. "You look like the world is on your shoulders," the teacher said gently. Armin didn't respond, but that day, he broke. He told his teacher everything. Sir Hafiz listened silently, then placed a hand on Armin's shoulder. "Do you know what grit is?" he asked. Armin shook his head. "Grit," the teacher continued, "is the art of surviving storms that were never meant for you. You don't need life to be easy. You need to be unbreakable." That sentence struck him, like a lighthouse appearing in darkness. The storm is not there to stop you. It is there to shape you. Sir Hafiz became more than just a teacher. He became a guide. After class, he told Armin, "Every strong person you admire, every success story you've heard, all of them survived storms. But how?" Armin asked, "How do you keep going when everything falls apart?" The teacher smiled by understanding 3 truths. 1. You can't control the storm, only your response. 2. Pain is not the enemy, avoiding pain is. People who avoid discomfort stay weak. Those who face it grow. 3. Small steps are still steps. Grit isn't about doing everything. It's about doing something, especially on the days when you don't want to. The teacher looked him straight in the eyes. You have the choices, break or bend. Bending means you adapt, you survive the pressure. You keep moving, even slowly. Breaking means letting the storm decide your future instead of you. You have the heart of someone who bends, not breaks. Don't waste that. The words lit something inside Armin, a spark, a shift, a change. That day, he walked home differently. Not stronger, not happier, but determined. And that is the foundation of grit, not confidence, not positivity, just determination. The next morning, Armin woke up before sunrise. Not because he felt motivated, but because he didn't have a choice. He took out a notebook and wrote 3 simple rules. Do what must be done, not what I feel like doing. 1 small step every day, no excuses. Pain is temporary, giving up makes it permanent. He started searching for part-time jobs. Most said no, but grit doesn't stop at no. By the end of the week, he found 2 small jobs, delivering groceries and cleaning a mechanic's shop. It wasn't much, but it was a start. He cut his expenses, no snacks, no unnecessary spending. Every rupee mattered. He also made a study schedule, forcing himself to study for at least 30 minutes, even when exhausted. Small steps, he reminded himself. His friends mocked him. "Bro, you work too much," but grit makes a person deaf to negativity. Slowly, things began to stabilize. His small earnings covered groceries. The rent was paid barely, but paid. Life was still hard. Every day was a battle. But Armin was no longer drowning. He was learning to swim. And that is how grit begins, not with big victories, but with small decisions repeated daily until they become a lifestyle. Just when Armin thought life was stabilizing, another storm arrived. His father's condition got worse. The doctor said he needed costly surgery. His mother cried silently at night, but Armin heard every sob. He knew he had to do something fast. He picked up extra shifts, woke up earlier, slept later, ate less so his siblings could eat more. But storms never hit alone. At school, his grades dropped. One day, while lifting heavy boxes at his job, Armin felt a sharp pain in his back. He collapsed. His boss rushed over. "Armin, are you okay?" He wasn't, but grit isn't about being okay. It's about moving anyway. "I'm fine," Armin said, fighting the pain. "Let me finish," his boss sighed, then said words Armin never forgot. "Listen. Strong people don't survive because they're strong. They survive because they refuse to stop. But son, even a warrior needs rest." This season tested everything, his body, his mind, his limits. But grit is forged in fire, and Armin was burning his old weaknesses away. Something changed in Armin after that collapse. Not physically, not financially, but mentally. He realized grit wasn't about strength. Strength fades. Grit was something deeper, something connected to identity. I am someone who doesn't give up, he told himself. Not because he felt strong, but because the alternative, giving up, was not an option. From that day, his mindset changed. When he felt tired, he said, I keep going. When he felt scared, he said, I keep going. When everything seemed hopeless, he said, I keep going. This repetition shaped not just his habits, but his identity. His grades began to rise again. His boss noticed his discipline and gave him small bonuses. Even his father whispered, You're stronger than I ever was. Armin felt a quiet hope, the kind that grows slowly and never leaves. He was no longer a boy surviving storms. He was becoming the person who walks through storms and grows. Armin's life began to change, not because of one big event, but because of hundreds of small efforts. He created a small routine, mornings for study, evenings for work, weekends for extra jobs. He saved every rupee. The mechanic shop owner called him over. You work harder than half the adults I know. How would you feel about helping me as an assistant? His eyes widened. Assistant meant double the pay. His work increased, but so did his income. With this new job, he managed to save enough for half his father's surgery. He used his free time to learn repair skills. Soon, customers began saying, Let Armin handle it. He's good. His confidence, skills, and income grew. Finally, after 2 years of non-stop work, sacrifice, and grit, he saved enough for the surgery. The day his father was discharged, the doctor shook Armin's hand. You saved him, he said. Armin just looked at his father and smiled quietly. Because grit doesn't celebrate loudly, it celebrates in silence, in relief, in the peace of knowing you didn't give up. This was the moment Armin understood. Small steps can build miracles. Years later, people would ask Armin, How did you do it? How did you not break? And he always gave the same answer. I wasn't strong. I was stubborn. Grit is stubbornness with direction. It's refusing to quit. It's accepting pain, not avoiding it. People think survivors are fearless. No, they are terrified, but they move anyway. People think survivors never get tired. No, they get exhausted, but they rise anyway. They break many times, but they rebuild anyway. That is grit. Armin's story became a reminder that storms don't destroy everyone. They reveal the ones who refuse to surrender. Life didn't become easier for him. He simply became tougher. Storms will always come. Life will always test you, but grit makes you unstoppable. And the people who survive every storm, they are not the strongest. They are simply the ones who refuse to stop walking, no matter how hard the rain falls. Thanks for watching.